Hi everyone, my name is Tamika. I go by she and her pronouns, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time visiting the channel, please note that this channel I created it as a safe space for Black women like myself who are suffering through and with chronic pain and any underlying medical condition. You don't necessarily have to only be a Black woman to be an ally and to be a support as well. So do keep that in mind, because I do make these videos therapeutically. It's a release for me. I wanted to share the last few days I've had a really hard time. I've had sleep disturbances and pain flare-ups. And it was linked to a lot of stress that came about unnecessarily so, but nonetheless, I experienced an unexpected financial loss or setback, and for that reason, it really it impacted me in a very real way with physical reaction in my body. So with the pain in my joints, with the headaches, the lightheadedness, the nausea, the dizziness, all of those feelings, the tingling feelings in my hands. Feels like my hands have pins pricking them all over. And oftentimes it can be you can have a physical reaction to emotional traumas and stresses. For me, it was something that was triggered through interaction with family members, and the triggering manifested itself in a very physical way, but also too, it was my response to it. I became more reactive instead of responsive, or having an adaptive emotional response, or using one of my self-soothing techniques that I know that help me in those instances. And that's the other thing too that you have to be mindful when you have chronic pain, is that people who are interacting with you that don't have that sensitivity or understanding, they can actually indirectly cause you harm, even if they do not intend that, because the way they're interacting with you can start to be triggering a lot of negative feelings and thoughts in your mind. Then your stress levels increase, the cortisol in your blood increases, the adrenaline increases. All these are things that are just only going to make it much more difficult for you to live with and manage your pain. I'm only now getting to a baseline with my pain management in terms of it actually consistently helping me. I haven't had to rely as much on the medical cannabis. However, these medications have their own set of side effects as well. So I wanted to share why I've been silent here on my YouTube channel, and it has had to do with the fact that I've been suffering with a lot of pain. And it looks like through process of elimination from various tests and diagnostic testing and ultrasound and imaging, it's coming to a conclusion that I might have a diagnosis of a condition known as fibromyalgia. This is yet another diagnosis and condition that is something that you live with. It's not something they can give you a pill and then boom, it goes away. So for me, having to upend and change my entire life is where I'm at. I am at a place too where I'm emptying myself of attachment of anything. And in the Christian tradition, we're supposed to, and as a very open and practicing Catholic, there is a concept known as emptying out yourself so that you can be filled with the vessel and the love that God has to give. Because if you don't empty yourself from all these external things, all these external distractions, how can you put God as the center and the focus in your life? And emptying your life of external distractions is so important when you have chronic pain. And for me, it's such a common metaphor, and I often turn to practicing my faith because it is a source of not only strength for me, but a source of comfort. And even if that's not for you, you might have another path, but I want to share my journey and my path with you, what has been comforting for me. And I find comfort in a lot of the The practices that the prayers, the word of God, just even meditating on those words, because they can be just so soothing to be of good courage and to know that you are made for good. And that's hard to feel that way when you're in the midst of suffering. The church teaches about redemptive suffering, that we can use our suffering for good. And I know that even when I say that out loud, how does that make any sense? How can my suffering be used for anything good? My suffering is the barrier to giving me the things that I need in my life. It's the barrier to being what the society would say is a fully productive person. But we have to remember that suffering also, you can open your eyes to things that you might never have seen. It can change you in ways that are totally unexpected. And it's going to be how we respond to all of those changes. And in the midst of the pain and the suffering, it is very difficult. And I know that firsthand. It's very, very difficult. I know what it's like to be lying in a hospital bed for days and weeks and not being able to do anything for myself. I know what it's like to have to learn to be able to shower, be able to just get up and dress myself. I've been there, so I understand when someone might hear there's redemption in suffering. What is she talking about? But what I know is those tiny small victories. So this morning I could actually stand and get up on my own. I've come a long way from where I was when I was first diagnosed and first became seriously ill to where I am today, still living with illness, but I'm still able to do those small things. I can go out and I can be in nature with my dog. I can walk on my own. I can actually clothe myself and feed myself on my own. I can shower on my own. I have a safe place to lay my head at night. All those are the small victories that I have to take, because when you're living with chronic pain, it really is moment by moment. As I'm talking to you right now, my hands are starting to tingle, and I'm feeling the pain. It's escalating somewhat, so which really means at that time what I do is I take obviously I'm going to take my medication to give me some relief. But I wanted to just share that with you, that I'm getting closer to looking this is the face of someone who's living with chronic pain. That chronic pain, it might end up being fibromyalgia. This is the face of someone who lives with chronic kidney disease. And this is the face of someone who is living with pain and suffering, but I'm living. And my life has value and meaning, and I know that God will help to show me the way forward. So as I always say, listen to Black women, listen to our stories, believe Black women, amplify our voices, know that we are worthy and we are deserving of love. We are lovable. We are deserving of a full life of joy and happiness. Listen to Black women and let us tell our stories. Thank you, everyone. That's what I wanted to share with you today. And I do pray that everyone who watches this, that my words resonate with you in some way. Please subscribe to my channel, and share it if you feel that you've gained something from it. Share it with others. God bless. Thanks, everyone. Bye.